Okay. All right, everybody. Hey, welcome back. Tech packs are due. Sketch session. Sorry. It's been a while. Just to say the least. Hey, but we won't get into that right now because it's a sketch session. We want to stay straight into the sketching. But yeah, it's been a while. Sorry. So, what do I say here? We have been trying to film and figure out how to remotely capture portfolio review, which, it's not really been done that I can find. And so trying to think of how to get that done has been a little rocky. And I want to have a guest on. I'm still still kind of mourning the loss of my co-host to a large company in Beaverton and them not really wanting him to be a public figure, so to speak. So I've been kind of in, a little bit of a limbo, for lack of a better phrase, like trying to figure it out. But yeah, so we got Valerie Weilert to volunteer to, at least I asked her and she said yes to helping me do the portfolio review episodes. We tried it once, didn't work. Tried it again, didn't work. Literally, she was supposed to be here today instead of me filming this, but she couldn't get out. She's stuck. Her flight home to Portland got canceled. She'd be in her home right now. We'd be filming right now, but she's stuck on vacation, which is not horrible, but it is what it is. So, look, I look forward to getting back together with you all in the long form episodes. This isn't the setting for long form. I want everybody to be glued and locked in on sketch session. But to kind of intro the sketch session, long story short with Valerie, we got like half an episode in and my technology started glitching out on, it just stopped working. It was so frustrating. So we called it. We did about half an episode reviewing portfolios. I thought it was great. I'm really excited to get it to you, but in the form that it was getting done and how everything was coming together, it just wasn't it. And so I had to say, we had to cut it. And that's just how it goes sometimes. It just was not quality. The glitching was such that it was getting in the way of the information. So, but what did happen though, is we reviewed some work. And I think it led to what I think would be a good sketch session. And I'll explain that as well. So what happened is we reviewed work and we had two portfolios that we were really liking and kind of entry level portfolios. And I said, you know what? My whole goal with the portfolios is to not just review them, because I think anyone far and wide can review them, right? The thing is I don't want to just say words and have you think, are you you do this and this and do this and this and you'll get a job, or do this and this and your portfolio will look better. I would rather, I think it just is more helpful. And I think in my career, I wish I had this more, is people showing the way rather than just saying things. I've had so many people who are just like, oh, you'll get it. Oh, you'll figure it out. Oh, you'll do this and this. And it just felt so painstaking. And that's how footwear feels. There's no one like that is just gonna like, and I understand that some lessons like you gotta learn by going through them, but can we just cut it and like sense that we all know when those situations are happening versus when I can just give you the information? Like, why would I go through and review portfolios and tell you your proportions are off if you don't even like, you're obviously not drawing proportions. Like, let me take your sketch, bring it in, show the proportions. I just feel like or we'll say like, oh, well, you're showing this inspiration behind the sketch. We're showing it to you, and I'm seeing it, but I don't see the connection. Like, what's the point of me just saying I don't see the connection when I can nowadays literally clip your sketch, bring it in, pop it in, and say it? I just feel like I've had so much where I'll even be professionally like designing stuff, and someone will be like, well, I don't think this and this looks good. You need to refine it, or you need to do something different. Clearly something's in their mind. And look, maybe I'm jaded or maybe I'm salty about something. I don't know what, I don't have an exact example of this in my professional life. But what I am saying is, like, we work for a company. It doesn't matter. Like, the company is not going to give two craps if it comes from the guy next to me, the guy to my right, the guy to my left. It doesn't matter. Like, it could come from someone off the street, and as long as it looks good and it's going to sell, the company doesn't care where it comes from. And so I just had so many situations, right, where you are told but not shown, or told but not taught. So that is what I'm going to try to do here in sketch session, is try again, break these things down. And I'm not 100% right all the time. Like, I'm not going to say like what I'm about to sketch is, take it one for one and put it in your portfolio. I don't even care if you do that. If you take what I take, what I do, and you throw it in your portfolio, whatever. And I'm only going to do one sketch. That's 1 out of 1,000 shoes you're going to draw and render for the rest of your life. Like, don't, there's just, it just makes sense to show. Like, and a lot of times I feel like people are just posturing and they think they know the way, but they really don't. They're just saying, I don't like something, because I do the same thing. If a coworker asks me for a critique and I don't know the direction, well, I think I'm a little more honest. I just say I don't know. But some people will just say like, I don't like this and this. Show the way forward. Take the sketch. Do the thing. If you think you have an idea, help somebody. I mean, I'm sure it works that way in some companies, but what I'm trying to do is make that how it works now going forward. So if you give me a portfolio, and I see a way forward, hopefully I can have the time to put it into this show and show the way forward. Now, we got some portfolios that were good enough. I don't need to touch anything. Like, they're good enough that nothing I'm going to do is going to be better than something you're going to do when you're putting in the time, when you're in the trench, like working through all this stuff. So even when I get into these projects, I'm not trying to reinvent anything. I'm not trying to say I have the answers, but I'm at least going to show you ways that maybe you can get, something like a final render looking a little bit better, to be a little bit more impressive, or to make your already interesting concept stand out to someone with a trained eye, which is who you're going to face when you are, taking your portfolio and putting it out there. So this is like all to supplement what Valerie and I are going to do in the coming episodes. It's going to be about a 3-parter, so we can cover all the portfolios. But anytime that I see something in our portfolio reviews in these coming episodes is going to get a sketch session. on the back of it to show the way forward. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into it. And again, I picked out 2 from the episode we haven't shot yet, but we filmed half, and I said, hey, these are 2 that I'm going to just go ahead and do. In the meantime, while I'm trying to get Valerie back in Portland and life situated, that's how it goes. So here we go. We're gonna dive into sketching. It's gonna be a little different, but a little bit of the same. And I'll show everybody what I'm talking about. And let's get into it. Okay, so this first sketch. So we got a portfolio from Avery Gottschalk. Shout out Avery. Thanks for being brave, willing to send me your work. I know how it can be. I don't even know if you thought that I would even review this, but hey, we did. We checked out your work. You got this project from, looks like a sponsored project with Kansas University, Columbia. Great stuff. Built out the persona, built out this look, asked some good questions, set up the brief, but then we get into it. You have this trend spotlight with these sneaker loafers. Honestly, I don't get it, but I've been seeing them everywhere. That's fine. I feel like, I don't know if this is ever going to truly catch on like really hard, but whatever. What it is. See some ideation here, which is like, it's fine. But when Valerie and I just kind of got through it, we just thought it was kind of all over the place and yada, yada, yada. And we were like, how does it tie back? We'll get to it in the episode. But what I want to draw attention to is this, your final kind of render, and just bring it in here. And I know, again, the whole sketch fam is looking at this right now. The whole sketch session, tech packs are due. Family is checking this out. Now, hey, I'm not saying like we're all here to like take shots, and if you're trying to get into footwear, that's what it is. But look, there's a lot of issues with this in general. We'll get to like all the other like story stuff later, but I do want to like just kind of, I grab this and I bring it in to Procreate, and we're going to talk about what's going on here that you can fix and improve upon. Now, again, I am a senior level footwear designer. I've been doing this for nearly 10 years. It's like I'm not like amazing. I'm not great, but what I'm going to tell you is this is how you need to, this is where you need to jump. At least you need to start in a certain spot and keep pushing forward. But anyway, so now you can see this. This is your project. I am just giving my time to it. You don't have to take it. You don't have to, but maybe you will see something in here that could jump out to you. So without further ado, here we go. Got this in Procreate. I have it in Square right now because I plan on posting it to the Tech Packs Are Due Instagram. You're welcome. So first things first, I mean, I just think proportionally, you're just kind of all over the place. So I have sketched over this a bunch, and I've kind of workshopped this. And the first thing I think to do is I grab red, and I'm like, we're gonna dive in. All right. And the other thing I will also do is do a white fill layer. Just kind of gloss over this for a second. Scale it back. Now I will say, like, on the whole, concept is not bad. Like where you landed, sneaker loafer, Columbia. Yeah, I don't know what Columbia is about. I don't know, like if they're even going to be interested in a sneaker loafer. Like what is, I don't know. Um, but what we do have is a concept and a shoe that's, it's not, I understand you're trying to appeal to her. But first off the bat, like, I don't think this concept's all that bad. Um, if you're trying to appeal to her, if you will. And I don't know much about Columbia's customer, consumer, whatever, but you have some organic shapes, got some lines that are interesting. It looks double lasted for reasons I don't understand. Um, Sneaker loafers, from what I've seen, are not double lasted, but that doesn't mean it can't be. Like I'm seeing no visible midsole is what I'm saying. Um, so let's just dive in. The biggest problem to me right now, and I think what you should start doing is just like give it a ground. It's like straight up, start with a ground. And then for me, it's like this toe is the biggest thing that needs to be worked out. And I start by just coming in, having a look at it. I don't really know the correct, um, I don't know the correct form, I guess, for a sneaker loafer, or if there's like um, if there is I don't know if I want to do that. If there is like a template for a sneaker loafer, but what we can do is work on the proportionality of it. If I see one thing, I think all these sneaker loafers have kind of this line that kind of comes through and connects to heel shape, heel profile. I would kind of improve this, like how bulgy the tongue area looks is it's a bit much. I think you want to try to be as sleek as possible. I just don't think this like big rubber toe thing is working. Like how this would come out would be, I just feel like the nose of the shoe would be just huge. Like if this is where the tongue is, and then you have your little strap coming over. I just think it'd be this big kind of cloggy shape. I don't think we want that. I'm just, and like some of these like Viscoms that you had done, Avery, were, and I'm talking to you, Avery, but I'm talking to everybody. Even some of these, like the toe was pretty, like this concept was like, it's kind of messy, but it's at least sleeker. And I think for her, you really want to dive into a sleek, tight kind of toe. And I think this, this look is a lot better in terms of like letting the material be the toe down and not like a big rubber, toe cap. It's just me. So immediately that's what I'm diving into, like starting that from here. I think you get already a bit more sleeker in the toe. And what I like here, I'm gonna do a little airbrushing to show my previous lines and stuff, but I am okay with this. Like I like this, like with this look. I've drawn this a couple times now, and I think like having the rubber do this is not a terrible idea. It's kind of interesting, and I think I want to like keep as much of your original design as possible. So I'm doing that, and then I think this heel is fine as well. I would not. I don't know if I'd swoop in. I kind of like this idea of kind of connecting it. Ooh. And then here we go. And then at this point, I'm actually like interested in kind of a quicker heel. Maybe something that elicits a little cushion. Because what I'm getting at is I really think there's something to this like podular story that's kind of showing up. You've got like a back and a front. But I just think we need to simplify, cut down some of the noise of what's going on. I think this panel is kind of interesting that you have going on where it just kind of swoops under. I think I'm torn because I think it could just be a good line to make the midsole show up and not double last, which I think is a good idea. I think that's where I want to go. I think that's all good. And then, you got your space for your, your gore band or whatever these like, whatever they got on these sneaker loafer things. It's like two-way stretch accordion, whatever's. You got that. But again, just trying to sleek it out and get those proportions a little bit better. We're not trying to be too boxy. We're cutting things down, having it be sleek. I don't know what Columbia is about, but I'm guessing that Columbia is not asking for like heavy, bulbous. I think they're asking for sleek. If you're asking for everyone, those are like buzzwords in the footwear industry. Like no one's gonna be like, oh yeah, make that fatter, or like, blow that out more. Unless you're doing like Max Kush runners, but again, I still don't think they use that verbiage. I think what's cool back here is you could have a nice like external counter. We could keep branding there if we want to, sync it into EVA, which could be good. And then you can keep this strap if you want. I kind of like it because it like breaks it up. But then I just think you would end it, just do like something interesting. Simplify. That's what I'm always trying to do. So I've cut some of the paneling down in the front. Actually, this might be the best I've drawn this yet. Time will tell. But, bring that piping. They do like on these sneaker whatever loafers, they do all this like leather wrapping and piping all around the edges. I mean, you're seeing that right here, seeing it here. Like pick up on some of that. Like when I'm saying, and we'll show it in your portfolio, like bring some of that imagery over. Like this should be sitting next to each other. And I mean, almost like you're grabbing that and like pointing, you're like here, that's going there. Like if you're pointing to this as like your mantra, like put something here that like lets us know you're looking at that, or I'm looking at this strap. Like I do like this one from this shoe, like this New Balance. Like I'm bringing that and I'm intentionally placing it here. I'm like, these are the trend things that I'm picking up on. Anyway, now we have that. So, and then definitely making this a mesh. Like this needs to be like an air mesh. Bring a little, I mean, I think I want to leave this one classy. I don't know if I want to put a, like a tab or like a label or something. You could do a molded, but I'm kind of liking this as is. Okay, so that's setting us up. Proportions better, the stance a little better. You're not bringing that heel too far over here. You're not, this heel's got a little bit more of a rake to it. Everything kind of flows a little bit better. You've simplified it a little bit more. You can, you can add some detail lining in the midsole if you want to. And now we have chances to materialize this. We have a blocking here. We can block this to the tool. We can block these two together. We can pop this, which I will. We can pop that. We can, double pop. We can do whatever we're going to do. We can block this thing like crazy. It's another amazing thing. But this design, I just think it wasn't too far off. It's unique. I'm not seeing loafers like this, but I think there's a way to like make it really high end, which is another buzzword that we're always seeing in footwear. Just high end, snazzy, level up, all that good stuff. And these deco stitches are cool too. Anyway, so I have this mesh. Make it a mesh, Avery. Make it a mesh. I think it just sports the whole thing up. Really calls attention to what's being done in other footwear product. And I mean, man, you're seeing it right there, mesh. Bring it in. All right, and then, so now I've got that. Now, the way I build this is now you can take this and kind of back it up. We're gonna grab this guy. We're gonna grab, take this down, take our blocker, beef it up a little bit more. And then we're gonna start to add layers here. I was doing in my own time, I was doing some like sea foamy stuff. So we're gonna hit it. And you wanna block these out. So the rubber is its own color. And you're gonna see, I'm gonna Mike Tulo the heck out of this thing. We're gonna overblow the shading. We're gonna go wild. But I will start by just grab that, boom. We're gonna Mike Tulo the crud out of this. And the other thing I think that's good to know, to mention, is we're going to use all of this. And I think because I'm not completely done with this concept, and I'm not 100% sure, like, if I'm truly loving this or not, I'm going to leave it a little sketchy. I'm not going to like make it overly done. And I'm going to use some of the line work we've already created to just kind of lay over top. But anyway, so keep blocking it. Next, I would do the foam kind of sitting under the rubber. So we're going to come under here. Again, I'm exposing this, but you can double last it. I mean, that's fine. Just, I would make it maybe like a emboss, or like that panel that I got rid of. I would take that emboss and make it a little more special, or I'd take the panel and make it a little more special. Maybe add like a packaged material under it to give it some depth. But I am putting it together, and I'll show you the one that I did do with that. Okay, I'm like a little over 10 minutes now. Just trying to make sure I speed through this. Oh, you know what? If we copy this layer, and then we paste it, and then bring it up here. Should we grab this layer all the way to the top? We're going to take it, we're going to go saturation, we're going to down, we're going to take it all black, and then we're going to back it off, and then use that as kind of a little guide. Okay, we got to hit the upper. Again, if you're talking about these boho chic things, if you're talking about this like sandy seashore, you got to lighten it up. Like, I don't know. That's the other thing that Valerie and I talked about. I don't know how we ended up at Brown Shoe. Like, how did we get there? And maybe there's a reason why we're there. Maybe we just couldn't detect it. So maybe if you're going to go Brown Shoe, emphasize like why. Because all we were getting and the outfits that we were seeing, we wanted like these colors. We wanted bright sand, beachy, Massachusetts, Yale, like, Gucci. We wanted all those things. And I would put the upper under your tooling and your rubber, your outsole, just because that's how they'll layer on top. Your upper will never be like on top. But there we go. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. So now I think what I would do is really start to add depth. Oh, actually, we need to hit up. I was thinking it would be so cool if like this back thing was an exposed heel clip. And again, like this is footwear. Have fun with it. Exposed like bright, shiny gold counter. Just boom. And like if you hit it um, with enough gold, it's gonna be gold. And you can hit it with some shine. People get it as gold. I think that's fun. And then grab this tab. Boom. Now we're talking. Last thing, since I'm not blocking these, I'm not going to change the blocking. Even though I could. It could be interesting. Ah, man. You got me. Let's do it. I didn't workshop this one, but we're going to give it a shot. Let's say we do want to block it different. Let's come in here with like a dark gray. Okay. You know what? That's classy. I'm telling you. This was not far away. It just needs a little bit more interest. And then hit that strap. It would be the last one. So that you got the layers built up in the correct order. Strap, same color. All right. Boom. Okay, now all we have to do is just start adding emphasis where we want to add emphasis. And since it's all just flat, like we can see right now that it's just flat. No curvature, no whatever. Now we just go in and we add all the juicy things that make footwear design. I'm going to take off a little bit of this, and then we're going to go for it. Again, I said I was going to Ditulo this pretty hard, and I really am. I think I'm just going to overemphasize all of these round points. Oop. Make that smaller. I'm going to overemphasize these. Like just to heck. Like hit that. I'm going to grab this. Make it look really rounded. And then come up here. And I think I'll do the same thing on this side. Tucking under. Yeah. Just so we know that this is like really sculpted. It's not my best one that I've done, but you know what? I think Johnny said it the best in his episode. It's hard to just come in and sketch when you're on a timeline and a schedule and all that stuff, but we're getting it done. All right. Nice. A little bit more here. Ooh, not right. Nice. Again, just hitting a little bit on the midsole. Ooh, actually, you know what? I think for this one, I'm going to dive it here and hit it here. Nice. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Okay. And then for this layer, I'm going to want to make it like a multiply or a burn. Something that just adds a little, dramaticness to it. All right. Now, okay. That looks a little maybe a little intense, but we can back it off. And then the real fun starts when we get in here and we start. Let's do one more layer for the upper of shadow and highlight. So again, coming in here, hitting the shadows. Oh, we gotta have materials. We gotta add so much. Sure. And it's okay. It's like it's gonna be messy. Like I'm seeing right now, there's some artifacting down. Artifacting being stuff that's there that I don't want to be there. Oh, this is rough. All right, legit. So let's go ahead and get rid of some stuff. Oh. Yeah. Okay. All right, now the fun stuff. Go in here and we just add all these little detail lines that take it to the next level. Again, keeping it a little sketchy, keeping these parting lines loose. Someone's like moving down my street. I can just hear like trucks and stuff and clanging metal. Little distracting, but and what we're adding is just like all of this, like this interest. So again, still sketchy, still loose. But I would have no problem like presenting something like this to somebody at a high level. Not like a board, but you know, high level design. A board you want to be like Illustrator, render, perfection. But I'm not going to be doing that on this podcast for a while. We're thinking about it, but I don't know how bad people want to get bored, but we will do it one day. This is the Comprehensive Footwear Design Podcast. Again, just like look at shoes, right? Like how do shoes like actually, how do they actually move? You know, these little shadow lines do exist. And they're small, but they're there. They create separation. And then just, I mean, with just a little effort, you know, we've kind of made it somewhere. Again, rubber toe wrap, really small. You just want to emphasize that we did it, but you don't want that big giant one anymore. It's got to go. Like I would say 100%, like you can tell me I'm wrong about everything else, but the proportion of the sketch and the render that was shown has got to be changed. The design, we could fight on this all day. I don't care. This is my project. But that proportion, you cannot present that to a high level footwear designer. Like, it's not going to work out. I showed it to multiple people, and you know, everyone kind of had the same reaction. How did we get here? Um, and footwear is tough like that, man. We've all gone through it. All right. So I'm there. And I am going to add some highlight. Very, very minimally highlight this thing up. Show some dimension. Because there is material thickness that's happening. They cannot start and stop EVA on a render on like a sliver. It's got to have some thickness. So that just kind of shows you know what you're doing, know what you're talking about. All these things exist, and like Johnny, another thing he would say when I was a young intern would just say, "Draw what you see. Draw what you see." Like, do you see it? Does it exist? Draw it as it is. Maybe a little down here on the rubber. All right, it's pretty decent. Maybe have like a little, maybe have something like that. Maybe you catch this top edge of the leather like that. And then I would just jump into material. So I think this heel clip can come up pretty high. Because I really think it's interesting. And then I would further drop back this. This is how we don't really need it anymore. And that's how you know you've like kind of arrived at a near finished spot, is when you take away the underlay, it's gone. And you still have your sketch is still there. Let's hit some materials. So immediately I'm thinking mesh. Almost anything will do. But I'm going to hit it with tried and true. Sure. And I'm just overdrawing. I can come back and erase. Sweet. And then if I really want to get crafty, no, not going to do that. Ooh, not doing that. Sometimes I will like go over my I will like double up my mesh. So it's like not bad, not great either. I'm kind of not happy with this. How the upper, nope. Where is it? Okay. Like the proportion of that needs to kind of, we can change that up. There we go. They might be connected. All right. And then I really thought what would be cool is to come in here and do like a perf leather. I know it's going to be maybe seem a little loud, but that's not a bad thing. Actually, I wonder if it, yeah, there we go. Sometimes when you turn, your brushes turn on these programs. I don't know. I thought it would be cool to have a perf leather. So let's do that. All right. You know, not bad. Not bad at all. And I'll take it down a notch on the perf leather. I can feel people saying maybe it's too much. At any rate, we've arrived. And there is a situation where I think you could like maybe split this, like this, you could split it here or something. You could like play off of that or split under the strap. If you wanted an area where there is no perf leather, oh man, I don't know how I did that. If you wanted an area that there was no perf leather, there you go. Let's get rid of that. I'm not going to do that. And add a little bit more. Sweet. And for the sake of the gold, let's bump that back. Yeah, it would be cool if you could see the perf underneath there. Like a transparent shimmer. Oh, and then, I think you got to add some stuff to like the rubber. Maybe it's showing some tread from the bottom. Even if just a little bit. Just, who knows what's going on under there. But it could be nice to indicate. And then, like a little split for podularity if that's happening. I think that could be cool. Yeah, I think that split's necessary. I would definitely do that. Just have these little parting lines. And then you're welcome to brand right here. If you're like right out Columbia, like kind of interesting. I think for something like this, it's not in their wheelhouse. Like maybe it makes sense to like create a new branding strategy. I was kind of living on this right here, being the brand mark being here. Or Columbia is like written back here. And then since I think we're all kind of into it, I'm not above embellishing. You can always come through and just, add a little line right there and indicate, movement, and how you foresee the tooling going. Just stuff that's fun. Come back here and add some shading to further emphasize the tool, making it jump off the page. I don't really like that. There you go. So even I can do stuff that's not necessary. But or maybe you're thinking like, oh, the rubber can also come up here, or like a color dam exposes back here or something. Same with this, like you could, if you really want to play into some of those stories, those wave, there could be stuff there. Just anything, right? That just adds like another level. And you just look at this, and I think I can start thinking of other things to add. Like this could be an emboss. This could be a color pop stitch, for some reason. Who knows? Like, maybe that could be something that's happening in the boho chic, whatever the heck that means. But yeah, so there you go. And I think with just a little bit of that, you got something I think is at least moving you in the right direction. blowing out that upper. Yeah. So if you're presenting on a whatever, it is what it is. But you know, another shot at it, another another take. Just think something that simplifies your concept, gets the proportions a little bit better. You can still do this like podularity thing or whatever you were trying to do. I think all those things are valid. So here's what I did for this sketch, for the part of the tutorial. Here's what I did earlier, and my gosh, that might be better. Anyway, I'm doing this like really, I'm really doing this Titulo thing where it's like really emotional, emphasizing the tooling. Don't know if that's necessary. And then I did this one, which kept more of that story that you were trying to tell with this and kept the branding over here. But again, trying to like emphasize, actually this one might be the one that hits. If I think any of them hit the brief, this one might be the closest one, where it's sleek. You've sleeked out the toe, which is I think the main emphasis for this consumer is going to be, elegance. I think this is doing that. Sorry I didn't tutorial this one, but it's the same. I mean, it's all the same stuff. The difference here is I came in with a brush and tried to make it look like a faux suede, which I think would be really cool if you did like materialization, faux suede, and mesh. It's got to be a mesh. I mean, it just like, in no world does this not get a mesh, in my opinion. But I think this is coming close. And I don't know if I did one where I can change the, I do not know if I did one where I can change the brown. I might have just did it, all of these in one shot. Oh, sweet. Let's just see what we can do here. Might work, might not. I think these, you get like a pink, are you kidding me? You could really get some fun stuff, like a deep maroon, pinkish, and then take this and have a little fun with it. Yeah, like that could be legit. Don't know what that has to do with boho chic, but it's all good. But I think this, again, the proportions, like if you look at where let's go back over here. If you look at where we started, and look at where we've come, you can like almost feel the difference. If I set this here, and you can just see the change of the toe, change of the heel, the stance, like the heel stance, the rake comes back, the upper sits up. Like there's all these little lines. If I can just, on this one, continue this tutorial a little bit longer. And I'm not like this is going out to the world, right? And the world meaning all 300 people who are following us, or the 1,000 that follow us on Instagram. Like these lines just kind of meander, right? Like I don't know why you need to do that. You think about when we think about when we are bringing this out to the factory, or we're sending this out for manufacture, like how you've got to communicate that little swoop right there is just like super hard, and I don't know how this is going to be set up when you take it to manufacturing, but I'm imagining it's a little cleaner of a sweep. Like I just don't think it's going to be like that. And then how this toe would, how this the tongue would sit over someone's foot to get that shape. Is just like, it'd be humongous. Like it's like a basketball toe or basketball tongue, like on this silhouette. I just think you want to like de-emphasize like that. I just don't think you want to like, I mean, maybe you want to, there could be a situation where you're going to do something like this. But I think for like the purposes of selling this idea, again, like you gotta get some ground. But for the purposes of selling this idea, like you've gotta like sleek it out. I just don't think there's a situation where that toe coming up and over like that is just, it's gonna be too big. And you're talking about, this is like a lady here, like especially like a Columbia consumer, which I imagine is going to be pretty conservative, I think, in taste. I don't know if you want to give them an approach shoe type of toe. So again, like it's these little lines, these little things that we think about when we start sketching. Like, I mean, it's so simple. Like this might be how it may end up being in real life, but like that's not a thing we want to be doing. That's going to be the end of this one. So I think I'll just pull up the one I think is the best one that I did. Again, I'll post all these in Tech Bags Are Due, Instagram, all our socials. You'll see this and how we try to help. I'm trying to emphasize sculpting, sleek, tight to the last. All those things that make you make something desirable, especially in like, I think of this very female driven, I'm looking at all of these again. I'm trying to think, what are they putting on? And these toes are really tight to the last. They're squarish, not super big, but they are a little bit. But even then, like if I'm sketching it, I want the emphasis to not be on the boxiness of the last. I think there is a situation where like the shoe might end up coming out like that, right? It might come out like that. And this rubber might wrap up and be up there, but we'll cross that bridge. The point is you're trying to get it, when you're trying to make an optimistic product, when you're trying to drive at something new, you want to give the sleekest, most beautiful, most amazing thing possible. Like that is the end of that. So that's what I'm going to say. And again, it's always, we're trying to learn, we're trying to just build it up, but that is this sketch in a nutshell. Avery, thank you again for showing us your work. We will, I just touched something. Hope it didn't mess me up. But we will review your portfolio live, semi-live on the air. And it'll be great. Thank you again for sending your stuff in. I hope this helped at least a little bit with this project. If it didn't, whatever. But this is kind of the look and feel I think you should move forward to if you're going to, again, show this project in the future and how you want to improve it down the road. All right, that's that one. Now we're going to move on to another project. 2 in 1 episode. Can you believe it? I could call it right now. We're at like an hour and 5 minutes. But I'm going to try to do another one. Might split it. All right.